everyone, I'm Sheriff Wayne Ivey of the Brevard County Sheriff's Office, and welcome to On The Go, our new podcast that we're doing, where we're going to talk about the different programs we have, the different crime trends, all the stuff that impacts Brevard County and the Brevard County Sheriff's Office. I got my host with me, co-host with me, Jay Martinez. Jay,
right.
Welcome.
How's everyone doing? All right?
Everybody's doing good. Today we're going to talk about fugitives, and we got our sergeant from our fugitive unit, Jesse Forrest, is with us. Jesse, welcome to the show. And,
thank you very much.
You guys, man, you have one of the toughest and actually one of the funnest jobs out there.
We sure do.
What's it like, man?
It's a blast. I mean, I'd say it's one of the best units in the agency. Just being able to go out on a daily basis and just hunt bad guys. It's kind of every cop's dream, getting into the job.
All right. Now, I was looking earlier, we were talking about some stats, and right now there's about 9,000 active warrants in Brevard County. The overwhelming majority of them are misdemeanor warrants, but you guys go after some tough people out there.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize how many there are, and obviously they date back, they could go back to the 90s and 80s and stuff like that, but yeah, there's a lot of warrants out there, like you said, a lot of misdemeanors, but we try to focus on the felonies, the violent ones, the ones that have long criminal histories, the ones that we think deserve or need to be behind bars or going away.
All right, so walk us through it. How's your day start?
Well, in the morning I meet with our investigative tech, and we just go through the warrants that came out, the new active warrants, and we just kind of pick through the ones that we think are the ones that we need to go after each day, and they range from...
You don't have like a giant wheel and you just spin it and say, we're going after that one.
I never heard that before.
Yeah, we might do a little something like that.
So yeah, then we just pick the ones that we think are the most important. We prioritize what part of counties we're going to work that day, and just go after them. It's kind of like a wolf pack mentality. There's me and 8 other guys in the unit, and we just kind of go after 1 or 2 at a time, and kind of go as a group to, this way we're more safe as in approaching it, not just knocking on a door, single deputy. So
yeah, I mean, you guys have to put personal safety and the safety of the citizens and everything first. So being, like you say, in that wolf pack kind of helps.
Yeah,
with that.
It definitely does.
And
our guys do a great job. A lot of them have been in other investigative units, so they bring that background, and they're great with the citizens. They're great with investigations, research, trying to find out where they are through, old police records and phone calls and whatever they have to do to, find these guys.
I'd imagine you don't just walk around in uniforms, looking for folks. I bet it's not to give away anything that you do, but you knock on the door, open up, it's grandma, and you snatch them up.
Yeah, it'd make it a lot more difficult. So yeah, we try to blend in.
That's exactly why you're not in the fugitive.
We try to blend in. So
yeah, the team obviously puts in some long hours and stuff.
Yes, yeah, we work long hours. The guys got a great group of guys who are willing to work as long as it takes to get the mission done. So we work around the clock, and they're always taking phone calls, talking to citizens, and stuff like that. So they're always working.
How involved are the citizens in helping you get the fugitives?
They're greatly involved between crime line tips, calling our office, Facebook. I mean, on a daily basis, we're getting a lot of help from the citizens, and we want to continue to get that because that's a big help for us. Because, I mean, as good as our unit is, I mean, there's only so much we could do. So having the help from the citizens is a big deal.
You talked about Crime Line. We want to make sure everybody knows you can get to Crime Line through 1-800-423-TIPS. Great resource, great
Yes.
partners with us. Crime Line is, and it's completely anonymous. You can get a reward for it. But Crime Line brings us a lot of tips. We get a lot of tips off of Facebook, I know. Does that kind of move them up? If you're getting good tips on the stuff, are you jumping on those?
Yeah, a lot of times, unless we have a real serious target, we'll jump on those because those are the ones that we know are fresh, and we know that it's a good possibility that they're going to be where the tip says they're going to be. So,
what's the longest one you guys got that you've been looking for? You got anybody that's like on everybody's bucket list? They want to get this person.
Yeah, there's some that go back a couple months. But one issue that we have is ones that go out of state. But we do have a great partnership with the U.S. Marshals, and the guys do a great job of reaching out to other city departments out in other counties or other states and working with them and trying to help us. So we'll go as far as we can to get them, even if they're outside the state. So
excellent. Yeah. Cool. Well, I'm looking at the numbers, and when you look at 9,000, that seems like a huge number. But I think what most people don't realize is you guys are out. You're taking 2, 3 off the streets, 4 or 5 a day, and 15 more warrants just came in through the state attorney's office and the courthouse. How do you fix that? How do we get ahead of that?
Giant shredder. A giant shredder.
We're down to 1,000.
It's the ongoing issue of how we could go about that, and obviously help from the community is a big thing, and just getting the point across to these people who do have warrants, just get it taken care of, and turn themselves in. I wish they would all know that, and we could stress that to them, because as you can see, some of these date back to the 50s. These warrants, some 60s, they're not going away.
Yeah, I was looking at that, man. I mean, we got, and apparently 1950 through 59 was not a big year for warrants. They only had one. And then 60 through 69 is even worse. They didn't have any. And then the numbers start gaining, in some years you added, 1,000, 1,100 to the list. So that 9,000 is an accumulative number going back as far as the 50s, as far back as we.
But that just shows you that your warrant's not going away. I wish we tell these guys every time we arrest someone and they've been on the run. I mean, if they would have just got that warrant taken care of day one, it would have probably already been over with. But now, months, years later, they're looking over their back everywhere they go. Yeah,
I remember Brian Guilford arrested a guy that I think had been an escaped prisoner for like 57 years. And,
from the Shawshank.
From the Shawshank, and arrested him, and we put it up on Facebook, thinking, man, this is really cool. 57 years, this guy, and Brian found him, and people lost their minds, man. They were like, "Oh, let the guy go," "Oh, we're not going to let the guy go. He escaped. He was wanted for homicide. He had killed somebody in a car crash." And so. The thing is, when I think most people don't realize that no matter what crime you've committed or how long you were given, when you abscond and you're a fugitive, it doesn't count with your time and everything. It's still going.
I've heard a rumor you can't serve a warrant on Sunday. Is that true?
They could believe it.
It's like Sunday, everyone takes a day off. Chick-fil-A's closed, but we're gonna go outside today.
24/7.
Yeah, and you guys do. You're out all the time, getting called out as well. So we've done, as a lot of people know, we've done some neat, innovative things to try and not only engage our community, but to help lower our warrants. And one of those is Wheel of Fugitive. And you and I talk all the time about Wheel of Fugitive. And I know I might accidentally harass you guys a little bit about how successful Wheel of Fugitive. And maybe I've even asked if we really need you guys, since Wheel of Fugitive's taking everybody off. But we get a lot of tips from that. And,
we do.
How does that work? What happens?
Usually either that night or the next morning after the airing. We're getting tips through Facebook. Sometimes they just call our office. Obviously, you give a lot of different.
And by the way, you can check Wheel of Fugitive out Tuesday nights, 8:00 on our Facebook page, Brevard County Sheriff Official. But
so usually Wednesday morning after the airing, we try to do a little research ourselves on the target. So we'll go out and do our own little research and try to look for them. Sometimes we're able to find them ourselves, but their tips come in, and a lot of times will put us in the right direction, if not to the exact location.
All right. So do the fugitives watch it?
Yes. Yeah. I would say I don't know the percentages, but everyone we arrest, we ask them, and there's a good percentage that say they either saw it or got a call that they were on it.
I mean,
that's like the ultimate thriller. You're watching your face go around and it lands on your man.
Yeah, I mean, I would think if I was a fugitive, I'd watch it. I'd want to know if you're coming looking for me, or can I breathe easy for another week?
Right.
I think the longer that it's gone on, because it's been a couple years now, right?
Oh no, it's been longer than that. It's probably been 3 or 4 years that we've been doing.
So I think the longer it goes on, the more I think
you should have like a high roller incentive. You put out a message, and if you're a fugitive and you want to be featured on the Fugitive, we put multiple pictures of you on the wheel. So
we've done that before. We actually had one that they were the only person on the wheel. And, it landed on them. It was amazing too. So it's kind of neat when you watch it though, because we literally on Facebook, you'll see 5 minutes after it goes up, you'll see people start sending us personal messages, and a lot of people, thankfully, because our citizens are so engaged, a lot of people will actually start investigating themselves. They'll look at their Facebook page and say they just checked in at so and so, and
they'll tag in the comment section. They'll tag the suspect in it, or tag someone's or their family member or friend who knows that person for them to look at it. So I mean, yeah, it gets around.
What's really neat is now other agencies are starting to do similar things. You go up to Flagler County, they have a fugitive bingo where they have one of those vacuum things with the ping pong balls in it. It pulls it up, and whoever's name's on it, that's the fugitive. They got Fugitive Feud out in I think it's Texas or Arizona's got it, and then Escambia County has got Wheel of Fugitive. It's a little wheel on a desk. It's kind of sad. You know what I mean? You flick it.
Like mini.
Yeah, it's like mini Wheel of Fugitive.
Almost like a little roulette wheel.
Yeah. So.
Any new guests coming on anytime soon?
On the wheel. Well,
good ones there for a while.
Yeah, we had a couple of good ones actually. And it ranges anything from they could be wanted for probation violation to any type of crime that's out there. But it definitely works and engaged. University of Central Florida did a study on it, and 88% of the people that are on the wheel turn themselves in or are found within the first 3 to 5 days. So, and I think that's a testament of our citizens calling us and alerting us to it. So, you guys, we're sitting here and we're kind of laughing a little bit about some of the things, but what you do is pretty dangerous. You guys are out there.
Yeah, it is, and I think that's a testament to our unit and the way we attack things. I mean, we are very safe. We use a lot of tactics and planning of what we're going to do before we make an arrest, and our use of forces and all that is pretty much minimal to none. I mean, because the way we approach it and the way we act is, in the safest way possible.
Wow. Now, you guys obviously do a lot of training, and
yeah, we train, throughout the year. Shooting, building clearings, surveillance. I mean, you name it. The stuff that we do on a daily basis that we've got pretty good at. We make sure we keep doing it to make sure we keep up on the skills.
Now, you guys aren't the only ones picking up people on fugitive. Obviously, our patrol deputies, Jay, your squad, everybody else is.
Sure, and I was thinking, on a patrol side, you go into a situation, you never know who has the warrant, or
exactly.
You always kind of doing that from the back end. But as a road officer, there's a lot of force options that you have. So I'm thinking, putting myself in the shoes of someone who's maybe not trying to stick out. How many force options do you have, or is it obviously going to be more limited than what we have on the road? And that's another element of danger. Whether to wear a vest or not wear a vest, to give yourself away or not give away. I mean, that's.
Yeah, obviously, whenever we're going to effect an arrest, we always make sure we have our vest on and doing it in the safe way as possible. But I think our biggest tool that we have is just the element of surprise. I mean, we try to blend in the best we can. So when we are ready to, go for an arrest, we have a plan in place. And a lot of times they don't see us coming, and we're able to get them before they're able to think about what they want to do, if they want to run or want to try to get away.
Having a warrant and being featured and driving around.
Yeah, and also by doing that, the ones, every once in a while you get one who does try to run. I mean, we got them surrounded, so they never get.
That's where you want somebody like me on your team.
Yeah, very fast.
Yeah, for the foot pursuit, right?
Yeah, the foot pursuit and stuff. So I've actually been out with them before, and to watch these guys work, just to see how they get in there, how they identify their targets there, and set up their perimeters, and it's not just about keeping you guys safe; it's about keeping everybody else safe, the neighbors that are around, and other things like that. So it's pretty cool to watch and to see it go down. And I was ready to run. If we'd had to chase somebody,
you had your red sneakers on.
My red sneakers on. I was ready to go, but they didn't run. I mean, they thought better of it. So, Jesse, you've been with the agency how long now?
This month will be 13 years.
What else you done? I know this is your funnest assignment, probably.
Yeah, I've been on SWAT about 12 years. So that's taken about a big portion of my career. So I really enjoy that. I've been in general crimes investigations when I was an agent. I got promoted. Before that, I was on our TAC team. So I've kind of done it all. Road patrol sergeant, and GCU sergeant now this gig for the last couple of years.
Is this your favorite?
Yeah, by far. I love it. Yeah.
And, so to anybody that's thinking about getting into law enforcement, what would you tell them? What would your advice be?
It's a great career. Obviously, I've been doing it for a while. You guys have been doing it for a while. I think there's a lot of reward in it. Obviously, we're in some tough times in the way that things are going these days, but I think it's still a rewarding job, and as long as we're doing things the right way and the safe way, it's a great career to be in.
No doubt. Now, in talking with you some through the years and stuff, you guys, when you go in and search a house, you identify somebody's in there and they won't come out. That happens probably more than most people imagine.
Yeah.
Walk us through that. What happened?
So we do our best to, having them physically in the house is our best scenario because we know they're in there and we're not going to go away. Obviously, sometimes I think we will, but so when they're in the house, we do our best to try to get them out, the best way we can by them just coming out.
You guys got like a bullhorn and stuff.
Surrendering to us. Yeah, we have a
Hear
bullhorn.
ye by order of the sheriff.
Yeah, we got bullhorn, intercoms in our cars and stuff like that. So PA systems, but we do our best to try to get them to come out on their own. But when it comes time, if we need to, we'll kick in the door and go get them.
Yeah. So you kick the door in. You're inside. You know they're in there. Legally, you can go in.
Mm-hmm.
You've got the door. What happens then?
Well, a lot of times we'll use K9. Sometimes just the sound of that bark will have them come out. But we'll have K9 with us. I'm very fortunate to have me and a couple other guys on a team with some SWAT experience, so that tactical mindset really helps out. So we just go in, we have our tools with us, shields, whatever we need to do, and we just kind of use our tactics to clear the house the best way possible. Sometimes they'll come out when they see us coming in, or sometimes we'll find them hiding in the closet or up in the attic. So,
yeah. Well, man, that's got to be an eerie feeling having to go up in the attic knowing somebody's up there. You don't know if they got a gun. You don't know if they're about to club you with something. Describe that? What's it like?
Yeah, we just try to do it the safest way possible. I mean, I think a year ago we had a guy in the attic and we heard him, and we just obviously we're not just gonna stick our head up there and go grab him. So we do our best to try to find out where he is, try to talk him down, do everything we can the safest way possible before we have to use other ways to get him out. But yeah, it's scary. There's a lot of unknown, especially when they're in their territory, their house, when they kind of know what's around them and their surroundings, and we don't. So
that's insane.
But we do it the safest way possible, and we've had great results in it. So
yeah. What's the longest you guys have had to wait on somebody?
I think we had a fugitive a couple of years ago down in Palm Bay, and he wouldn't come out of the house. He was in there, I'd say 5-6 hours. We ended up getting SWAT, and the SWAT team went in and got him. So
no guarantees you're getting right out, and you guys could be there for hours.
Yes, and we're not going away. So
yeah. Oh yeah. I mean,
and that's what
when you hear the loudspeaker, it's for the long haul, right?
Yes.
All right. So we got Wheel of Fugitive.
Yeah.
We got Cooking Up Justice that we feature, which is one of my favorite shows because I get to eat when we're on that. And now we got Fishing for Fugitives. What's your personal favorite? Which one do you like?
I like the Wheel.
You like the Wheel?
Yeah.
So how about
The Wheel is most.
Yeah. I'm gonna take you out fishing with me one time though on the Fish for Fugitives.
I'm not much of a fisherman. I'm more of a just kind of put a little sunscreen on and just lay out in the sun.
Yeah, but you can go out. I'll teach you how to cast for them and stuff. All right. So how much pressure?
I'm actually afraid to grab the shrimp out of the thing because they flick the tail. It's like I'm not that guy.
How did you pass background? All right. So what's the pressure like when the sheriff calls and says, we got this guy. We've put him on Fishing for Fugitives or Wheel. What's the pressure like with the team? Is it?
Well, that's why we do our best to the next morning just start looking into them. So
because I'm gonna harass you.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So what? All right. So tell our listeners what happens when you get somebody off the wheel and a citizen's called and told you where they're at and it's all the wheel. What kind of harassment do you get?
I usually send an email to the sheriff, and within 30 minutes, I'm getting a phone call of if he wants to run the unit for me. So.
Well, I mean, it is. The wheels
even my emails, I put, I'll be expecting your phone call. So,
when you guys take them in, they obviously they could have gone and turned themselves in. I mean, we encourage them to turn themselves in. What's the excuses? What do we hear?
We hear everything. They were going to go that afternoon, right before we got them. Even though the warrant was a couple months old, they were about to go do it. We get some who were waiting on their bond money to come in, or waiting on their attorney. We hear everything, waiting to get a ride to the jail. But I mean, some of these warrants that are on the wheel, they could be a month old, 2 months old. So they had plenty of time to get that taken care of, and obviously they didn't.
Yeah, so they know. I mean, they're just dragging, not wanting to go turn themselves in, and all sorts of excuses that come from it.
Yeah. That's interesting when you said someone could delay that process for years and then finally get caught and end up having to deal with that, 10 years later. That's horrible.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the guy that was gone for 57 years. I mean, you think about it. I mean, the overwhelming majority of his adult life was spent on the run.
Yeah.
And
False identity.
it had to catch up sooner or later. But here he goes back and now has to face the music for what he could have faced his music for then, and had the rest of his life to not have to worry about that stuff. So
It's almost like serving double time, It's,
I think in a sense it is. I think they have it. So most dangerous one or most difficult one you guys have had?
We've had quite a few run from us on foot in cars, lock themselves in the house with guns. So we've had it all. We've had a guy that we've been trying to get off the streets for a while, was committing a lot of burglaries and stolen vehicles. We got him in a car, and he tried to run, rammed a lot of our cars, and tried to get away, and ended up crashing and bailing out on foot. And we were able to chase him down and get him. So I mean, we've seen it all. And
you got some pretty quick guys on your team too.
We do.
I've seen them on the football field as well. So now you actually play on our basketball team. And,
yes, I've been playing for a while. I think
you're one of the original players.
I get to the point where I'm a little old.
Yeah, you're getting a little old. Let the younger guys do it. So I think out of all of them, my favorite target that you guys got, and let there be no mistake, we call them targets. They are targets. We're targeting them. We're getting them off the street. But was the girl that knew she was wanted, knew she was on the wheel, and put up she was going to the beach. It was too beautiful a day to get arrested. So she actually told us she was going to the beach, and I think it was Cocoa Beach grabbed her over there, and they had to tase her. She ran from them and stuff, so they tased her.
So run towards the water, huh?
Yeah, so we put up on Facebook, tan, tased, and arrested all in the same day.
Yeah,
like a Chamber of Commerce moment for getting off the street. So, well, Jesse, you guys do an amazing job out there, and I know I harass you guys a lot, but what you do each and every day, just being out there and again, just having to think about you guys, going into a house to the unknown, crawling up in an attic or chasing somebody, whether it's on foot or in a car. You guys are putting your lives on the line every day out there. And so I know our citizens appreciate it. I know I certainly appreciate it. And your team works hard. And you have some fun. I think anybody that's in this job that's not having a good time is missing a great opportunity, because it's a good time. So, well, we want to appreciate and thank you for being on the show, man. It's been awesome. Been
anytime.
Some great information. I don't think most people realize what all goes into a fugitive unit, and quite frankly, how many of them are out there for us. So, Jake, always, buddy, great to
it's great to be here.
So make sure you follow us on the go with BCSO, and we'll talk to you soon.